Hi, my name is Henk. Today I'm going to talk about how the cocaine detox was for me. I had been on cocaine for a long time, like 10, 15 years of abuse. And now cocaine doesn't have the physical withdrawal like heroin, but I experienced quite a lot of withdrawal, actually, a lot like most cocaine addicts do. Now, I was quite medicated when I entered my last treatment. And in the period before my last treatment, I got put in crisis care while I was in a psychosis. Many people experience psychosis after a lot of drug abuse, and I had the same thing from cocaine. And in my last, or in the crisis care, they took me off all the medication I was on and put me on an antipsychotic just to help lower down the symptoms. So in my last treatment center, when I arrived, I didn't have my cocaine, my alcohol, my cannabis, but I still was on the medication. They didn't dare to take me off instantly, and then I've done quite a long detox of that. Now, when I arrived in the treatment center, I felt a lot of anxiety. Felt depressed, insecure, confused, a lot of shame, guilt, regret, as most people do when they come off drugs, realizing all the things I had done to my family, to my friends, to my opportunities, to my life in general, and my finances. All those things had suffered enormously from my drug abuse. And when I was in the treatment center, it was very hard. I got depressed, very irritable, low threshold to deal with anything that goes on, anything other people deal with were very hard for me to deal with, overreacting. I was just very vulnerable, scared, I guess. Now, one of the things, looking back to it, I can really see that the core beliefs I've been struggling with for many years, and the convictions I had about getting off drugs and alcohol, and things like I can't live without it, I need it, it helps me, life without it is going to be boring, my life is going to be over if I can't drink or use. And in treatment center, we really looked at those beliefs over a period of time, and because I had been using for a very long period of time. So yeah, in my last treatment I was ready to give it sufficient time to learn to live again, I think, because I really developed a life that supported my addiction and my lifestyle, and I needed to learn a lifestyle that supports recovery, and that was a huge transition. And because I've been using for such a long time, it also needed some time for me to readjust, to live a normal life. Now, the feelings were hard in the beginning. It's like a vacuum. I didn't have my cocaine, my drugs to deal with situations as I always did in addiction. So, but I hadn't learned yet how to deal with situations without the use of drugs. So it's like a vacuum, and it's the most difficult time I had to go through. And these days I see it with the clients, but I really suffered from it too. And the desperation, the cravings, depression, and I felt very depressed. It's a common symptom with cocaine withdrawal. And it took quite some time to work myself through it. Now, what was really important for me was the support around me from family, friends, but mainly in the treatment center. That there were people who were there for me and empathized with me, showed compassion, and a lot of calming and soothing responses to my overreactions. At that time I thought it was completely justified and the only way to respond to little difficulties, but other people could of course see that it was an overreaction. Now, over time we lowered the antipsychotics, and I started learning more and more tools. And looking back on it, getting off alcohol and drugs was one of the most difficult things I've ever done. But it's also one of the best things I've ever done for myself and for my future. And if I look at my life now, I'm stable. I'm stable at work. I'm stable in a relationship. My family relations are much better than what it was. My addiction had driven a big wedge between me and my family, and the relationships were hurt by the things I did to my addiction, and the things I really started regretting in recovery. And in recovery to see the relationships come together, and the people forgiving me and supporting me and helping me back on track. Yeah, it's been amazing actually. And if I look where I'm at now compared to where I was in 7.5 years ago, it's I could never imagine that life could be this good without alcohol and drugs. In fact, it's like 100 times better, and maybe even 1,000 times better. I don't wake up in the mornings and having the shame, guilt, and regret for what I did the night before, and the money I spent, the things I said, the things I've done. It's just nice to be stable and to be happy, and of course thinking about how it was in addiction, it still brings up feelings like it's not a period where I'm proud of. It's a period where I've been through. But looking at the clean time I have now, and then the things I achieved being clean, I'm really grateful for it. I'm happy with it. I'm satisfied. I got a purpose in my life. All the things I did not experience in addiction, but I experienced in a normal life. And in my last treatment center, they told me research shows that addicts in recovery value their life much higher than normal people, people who never had addiction, because the addicts know how it is to have lost or have lost so many in their addiction, and that a normal life means so much to them, and I can really say, I'm part of that. My life is good, it's stable, I'm happy. It's really the best thing I've ever done. So this was part of my story. It's of course very much condensed. I'm working at Hope Rehab now, and if you're struggling with similar situations, or a family member who experiences addiction and then looks for help, then please feel free to contact us. Contact me, Simon, or one of us, and we can see hey, maybe we're the right place for you to get help. Maybe we know another place that might be better suitable. Might be good to contact us. And if you just have questions, it's also okay. We're happy to help you forward, because other people offering me help, and my colleagues, really helped us getting our life on track, and maybe we can help you forward. So please feel free to contact us. Thanks. Bye bye.